Hey, good morning, everybody. Peter Kama Real Estate Group, Kama Commercial, here at Keller Williams here in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Today, guys, it is absolutely beautiful outside. And I mean, when I tell you it's beautiful, you remember Saturday morning? I did coffee talk Saturday morning from my house, and I sat on the back deck, and some people felt the birds might have been fake, like we were piping the sound of the birds in. Well, we're in an enclosed environment today. I'll tell you, the birds are just as active today as they were last Saturday when we did Coffee Talk with Kama. A lot of really good stuff to talk about today with you regarding the market. Maybe some interesting topics in regards to when the best month of the year is to sell your home. Not the most home sales, but when you maximize your dollars. Would that be of interest to you? Just some really interesting things. I pulled some reports this week. Let's start with a couple of things that happened yesterday. So really proud day in the history of the Kama Real Estate Group yesterday. We had a ribbon cutting for our first ever new construction home in downtown Raleigh. We've got this really cool home at 1117 Page Street in downtown Raleigh with a custom home builder, Triangle Building and Properties. Luke Costanza, shout out to you, Luke. If you didn't see it, scroll back on my Facebook page, take a look at that video, take a look at the house. It is really cool. But we're breaking into that downtown market. It's a market we've wanted to sell in for quite some time, and it's a market that, quite frankly, is just growing by leaps and bounds. So, hey, good morning, everybody. Laura, Missy, Trey. I hope you guys are all doing great this morning. One of the things I intend to do is try to do a better job of interacting with people. I got chastised this week for not doing that. So I raised my cup of coffee to those of you on early this morning. But again, really important day for us yesterday. The ribbon cutting was a lot of fun. If you haven't scrolled down, you haven't looked at those videos, those pictures of that house, and you want to watch this house be built over time, it's a really cool project and one we're super excited to be a part of. So today's an interesting day in our house. My 15-year-old son, Cole, who drives me bonkers, as all of you know, we talk about him on here with some regularity. He's home sick today. He came home yesterday from school midday. And it's funny because I feel responsible for it. I was one of those guys when I played ball as a kid. You know, if we won a bunch of ball games in a row, you don't change your socks, you wear the same T-shirt to practice, whatever those superstitions are. I was that guy. I'm still that guy. I still feel like on Sunday afternoons when a ball game is on that I impact it based on where I'm sitting. Well, in this case, I feel like I impacted Cole's health. He's staring at me in a little photo over here. It's kind of odd, honestly. But I feel like I kind of impacted it there, right? The whole knock on wood thing. I know all of you do that. So I know that you're superstitious as well. I just told some people this week that Cole never gets sick. Camden is perpetually dealing with a cold, and he fights through it. He's tough. Cole, I don't remember him having a cold. Lo and behold, within 48 hours, Cole comes home sick from school. So Cole's home sick today from school, came home early yesterday. And it's just an odd feeling to see him struggling around the house a little bit. Usually if he's struggling, it's because he's lazy and he's 15, not because he's sick. So my heart breaks for him a little bit this morning. My heart also breaks for our Carolina Hurricanes, right? And I say our because I found myself cheering 50% for the Canes and 50% for the team that I grew up watching, and that's the Boston Bruins. And I'm excited for the Bees, and I hope the Bees go on and do great things in the playoffs. How fun has it been the last few weeks here watching the Canes do their thing? So I think one thing has happened. They're running the playoffs has helped them sell some season tickets for next year. I know a lot of you are lining up to get your season tickets already. So anyhow, the heat is coming. We've got a baseball tournament this weekend. It's supposed to be 90 degrees tomorrow, 91 degrees tomorrow, 90 degrees on Sunday. It'll be the first 90-plus degree day here in Raleigh this year. The heat is here. It's here to stay. We'll have this all the way through. Heck, we'll have it through Halloween. Who are we kidding? I can remember growing up in Massachusetts, we used to have to wear our parkas or our jackets over our Halloween costumes as kids because it'd be so cold. Here, people are in shorts, they're sweating, they're drinking mimosas and cold beers as they take their kids out trick-or-treating. Other people, not us. That being said, the heat has finally arrived, and I think we're in it for good. I saw 90 degrees or nearly 90 every day for the next week. And for those of you that have been complaining about how cold it's been or how cold the mornings have been lately in the 40-degree range, and I can't wait for it to warm up, well, here you go, and thanks a lot. So let's talk a little bit about what we teased earlier, and that is there are certain times of the year that are better times of the year to sell your house. Not because more houses sell, but because you might get a little bit more money for your home. We're talking about the resale market right now, right? And it's interesting. There's a group called the Adam Group, which goes out and does a lot of detailed research on the real estate market. Good morning, Megan. I just saw you. You can't come in here talking. You can actually walk through that door and come in and talk. And yeah, so the Adam Group has done some work. They analyzed 28 million sales over the last 8 years, and looking at condominiums, houses, detached, you name it. They're looking at all the sales in the residential market, and they came up with a couple of things. Number one, the number one season to get the most money for your home. Drum roll, please. Summer, not spring. Interesting, right? Everybody thinks the spring market is the best time to be on the market, but it's truly the end of spring and beginning of summer. They actually go into the reasons why, and obviously weather has something to do with it, but let's be honest. People have more time to go look at houses when kids are out of school. They have more flexibility. When they're on vacation, sometimes they get inspired. They see other things. So all those reasons kind of come into play. Also, for a lot of the commission-based businesses oftentimes have higher commissions or after your tax returns come in. In other words, there's another influx of money that is in the spring and summer that allows people to go out and buy homes, pay a little bit higher, be a little more free with their money. So let's talk specifically what months. Well, we're right in them. It's May, June, and July. If you want to maximize the dollars on your house, get it sold May, June, and July. Now, again, these are national averages, but May, June, and July. Let's talk about the specific days. Anybody want to take a guess at the number one day that you get the most money for your house? If somebody take a quick guess, I'll give you a hint. It's in May. It is in May. Give me a number. And I'll give you another hint. It's a day that is upcoming. It's not a day that is past. So 17 of those days are gone. So I'm really narrowing it down for you. But if you have a guess, go ahead and post it in there for me real quick, and I'll get back to it. I'll tell you the number 2 day is June 20th, and the third best day is June 28th. But the number one day is in May. The number one day, the 24th. So on May 24th, which I believe is middle of next week sometime, end of next week sometime, that is supposedly the number one day. Close, Trey, very close. The number one day to maximize the dollars on your resale of your home. So everybody be on the lookout for some good sales on your resales. Tuesday. Nicely played, Megan. Nicely played. So again, those are national numbers. What I don't want to do, since I know we have largely a local audience, what I don't want to do is have you get caught up on May, June, and July, because quite frankly, we're a little bit different. We're insulated here, right? We talk about this every winter, that the winter is not a bad time to sell a home in our market. And the reason for it is we're such a transient community, and because we have year-round schools in addition to traditional calendar schools, we're not school-based. So we sell houses year-round. Do we sell more houses in the spring and summer? Yes. Why? Because there's more houses on the market in the spring and summer. But yeah, listen, the fact is, your average inventory and all that stays pretty standard throughout the entire year. So let's talk about that. What is the average right now? Last week we gave you a bunch of numbers by town. We're not going to do that today. We'll give you some updates as things change, anything significant. But right now, in the overall market, 19 counties here, there's 2.3 months worth of inventory. That includes all the inventory that's in the multiple listing service. What it doesn't include is the new construction inventory that we call hidden inventory sometimes, right? Inventory that isn't necessarily on the market just yet or in the multiple listing service, but could be purchased, right? Doesn't include pre-sales, doesn't include a lot of those things, right? It doesn't include the home that we put into the system that we showed you yesterday, although it will this week. But with 2.3 months worth of with inventory right now, there are 7,800 homes active in our market, 7,844 to be exact. 7,816 are pending now, or contingent or pending status. And on our rolling 12-month window, we've had 39,971 closings. It's right where we talked about it being. It's a little bit above where it's been the last 3 years, where we've averaged between 36,500 to 39,000. We're just above that. I told you last week was the first time that I saw it actually go over 40,000 since we've been tracking the numbers. All right, so let's talk about the market specifically, and I think these are interesting. The percentage of market at different price points. So we've often talked on this show about different things like affordable inventory. And what is affordable inventory? That's different to everybody. I get that. But we use the $250,000 mark when we discuss affordable inventory in our office. So there is a percentage of the market made up that's under $250,000 right now. And it's higher than I thought it was going to be. And I think it's higher than probably you think it's going to be. The complaint in the triangle is there's just not enough homes to buy under $250,000. Well, the reality of it is 22% of the market is made up of homes under $250,000. 22%. Now let's stop for just a second and understand that the large percentage of those are going to be in our more rural areas. They're not going to be near the airport. They're not going to be near RTP. They're not going to be near downtown Raleigh. They're not going to be near downtown Holly Springs, Apex, Cary, Wake Forest. They're just not. Those are going to carry much smaller percentages of affordable inventories. No question about that. However, when you really look at it and the way that we're so transient and so many people work from home today, you can actually be a little further out. You don't have to be quite as close to where you work as you once did. And so that makes our area, our suburban areas, a little more attractive. And when 22% of the market is under $250,000, I suggest to you that there are options here for people to move from other parts of the country that can't afford an average price point of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. So let's look at the other ones. Between $300,000 and $400,000, that's 25% of the market, just under 25% of the market. And above, between $400,000 and $500,000, 15% of the market. Now that surprised me as well, because it seems to me, and it's because we do an awful lot in the Apex, Cary, Wake Forest, Youngsville, Rollsville markets, where we do a lot in those markets, Fuquay. The average price points there continue to climb, and we see so much between 400, 500, 550,000 in that range. We see so much inventory there. And with our big neighborhoods like Wakefield and Bedford and Heritage and places like that, those homes are all in that price range. So to us, the perception is that that would be a much bigger portion of the market. But when you look at the 19 county area, it really isn't. It makes up about 15% of the market. It's another example of why real estate is hyper-local, right? We talk about this all the time. Real estate is hyper-local. I don't care if you're in Idaho. I don't care if you're in Massachusetts, my home state. I don't care where you're from. Real estate is very, very hyper-local. So don't get caught up on those national numbers that even we talked about just a few minutes ago. So we're looking at just a 19 county area here, or what we call our triangle market, and these are the numbers. So above 500,000, 26% of the market is above 500,000, and no surprise there. Most of that's going to be very centrally located in a tight market closer to downtown Raleigh, downtown Durham, and some of our more fast-growing suburban areas. That means that 75% of the market is below 500,000. Very affordable, still the reason why so many people come here. That, and the fact is our tax rate's still just over 1% in most of our municipalities. And while some people complain about paying 1.2, 1.3% in taxes, if you're coming from New York, you're coming from the island, you're coming from any of the other places, it's largely one of the main reasons we hear why people move here. 3 most expensive homes. I thought this would be fun for those of you that are local. Most expensive home in the market is not in Raleigh. It's not in Chapel Hill. It's not in Durham. It's in Rougemont. I'm willing to bet most of you don't even know where Rougemont is, although there's a fantastic steakhouse up there. I think it's called Timberlake Steakhouse or something like that. But it's really, really good. But Rougemont, $6.995 million. An estate. It's been on the market for some time now, but it's beautiful, no question about it. The 2 more interesting homes, though, number 2 and number 3. So number 2 is Peter Lofton's old home over on Alpine. That one's back on the market. I showed this home, oh goodness, I want to say 7 years ago, 6 years ago. That sound right? Well, I showed it when it was listed at $21 million. Peter Lofton, if you don't know, owned BTI Telecom, sold off his telecom communications company here, made many, many millions of dollars. He was, for those of you that have been here for a while, Progress Energy Center used to be named the BTI Center because he donated $3.1 million initially to get that started. He then fled the area, moved down, left the house here, the one I'm talking about, went down to Miami, bought Versace's old house, which I find interesting as well. But anyway, nonetheless, that house is listed at 6.5. It is the coolest house. When you go downstairs into the basement, it's got this great indoor pool, indoor sauna, all those kind of things that you've seen. Nothing that would overly impress you if you've seen a lot of multi-million-dollar homes. But what is impressive, it has a gate down inside the pool that lifts up, that you can swim through underneath the gate between the rocks to the outdoor pool, where he has an outdoor bar and many hundreds of acres and what have you. So when we showed it, it was great. They cued the deer, and the deer were running in the back. It was pretty special, quite frankly. The kitchen for the chefs versus the main kitchen, you couldn't tell the difference. They were both stunning industrial kitchens. The HVAC system on that place was like for a hotel, as you can imagine. It was stunning. It was great. And the 3rd most expensive home, a name that's going to ring a bell for those of you that are interested in politics, John Edwards' old house over in Chapel Hill. He's got that indoor basketball court that looks like Carolina's court. Really cool looking place. He's at $5.9 million. He's had that on the market for over a year now. But those are the 3 most expensive homes in our market right now. I always think that's kind of fun and fairly interesting to talk about. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with before I let you go this week is why people sell their houses. There's a variety of reasons, but NAR, National Association of Realtors, recently did a great little what do you call it? A little research, a little poll as to why people sell their houses. This is what they consider young people. I'm so thrilled to hear this. Young people consider 29 to 53. Those are the younger respondents, as they refer to them. The younger respondents' number one reason was because they wanted more space. They wanted a bigger home. I defy that to be the case for some of those in the upper part of the younger range, those like me that are in their late 40s, because we're starting to think about the other side. We're starting to think about maybe, are we thinking about downsizing? Are we thinking as the kids go to college, should we get into something more manageable, less acreage, that kind of thing? Anyhow, 29 to 53-year-olds, number one reason they need a larger home. The 54 to 63-year-olds, which I found interesting, that's such a tiny little market, they're relocating for work. Makes sense. Their number two reason, they wanted more space. But the 64-plus-year-olds, there's going to be two main reasons, right? And you can probably guess these pretty easily. The two reasons that age group usually is looking to sell and buy a new home. The number two motivating reason is they want to downsize, right? We were just talking about. They want to downsize into less maintenance, less space to take care of. But the number one reason, it's a thing that we're all searching for, all in our 20s, our 30s, now in our 40s, and we realize it almost too late sometimes, I think. They want to be closer to family and friends. You can't fault people for that. I really think that ought to be more of a motivator, even for people my age and younger. But yeah, just some interesting information. So May 24th, get your house on the market now. Sell it on May 24th because you know you're going to get the most money for it then. I thought that was an interesting statistic we talked about earlier. That's all I've got. We're getting ready for a big baseball weekend. Please cheer on our team. Oh, one other thing. Let me say this real quick. Pediatric childhood cancer sucks. It sucks. I cannot believe that I know a handful of people have been impacted by pediatric childhood cancer. Some have had good outcomes, some have not. It sucks. It's terrible, and it's something that we all ought to band together. Find a way to stop. Yeah, cancer sucks, period. Pediatric cancer sucks worse to me. When it's dealing with kids, nonetheless, our baseball team on June 8th weekend, whatever, I think it's June 7th and 8th, we play in a tournament every single year. And this is an important story for you to listen to, so please listen to this. We play in this tournament every year, and we try to raise money prior to that tournament. And all the money we raise goes to fighting pediatric brain cancer specifically. It is the number one tournament, most important tournament to us. I hope we play well. I hope we win it. All those things are important for sure. Most importantly, I hope the kids understand why we decide to play in that. And we have a lot of discussion around that. We play really hard on the diamond, fight really hard on the diamond, so the other kids can fight really hard in a hospital, right? On that day, 2 years ago, I went in, and they have a shaving your head station, right? Shave your head, make a donation. I did that. I made a donation, shaved my head. And right after I shaved my head, my wife said, "What's that little spot on the top of your head?" So I have no idea. I can't see that. And so we scheduled an appointment. I went and saw a doctor, and the doctor said, "Yeah, that's precancerous. We need to look at that." Well, she did a scan, found two other spots on me that needed to be taken off. Guys, I can't tell you how important it is for you to support the organizations that make a difference to fight pediatric cancer. We get to do it through a baseball tournament, and that's so cool to me. Take a moment. Have you and your family, especially if you're more fair-skinned like I am, please take a moment, get yourself checked out. It doesn't take 20 minutes at the doctor to go ahead and have just a quick scan of your body. Go ahead and get ahead of this thing. And if you have a kid, please do that with them too. Help support us. If you want to know how you can help support us fight pediatric brain cancer on the diamond the weekend of June 8th, let me know. We're playing right here in Wake Forest, which is also pretty cool. Let me know. We'd love to either have you come out and just cheer on our kids. If you're interested in making a donation, do that. If you want to come shave your head that day, come do that too. I hope you all have a great week. We'll see you next week. I hope the information this week was helpful for you. And there's rumor that we may have a special guest next week. Talk to y'all later.